Hello YouTube! We are on the Real Programming channel. It is about HTML and CSS. My name is Andrei. This is our 44th lesson. I greet you. We will talk about expanding your vocabulary, Chapter 8, styling with fonts and colors. Let's go! Your CSS language lessons are coming along nicely. You already have the basics of CSS down and you know how to create CSS rules to select and specify the style of an element. How it's time to build your vocabulary, and that means pick up on some new properties and learning what they can do for you. In this chapter we are going to work towards some of the most common properties and that affected the display of text. To do that you'll need to learn a few things about fonts and color. You are going to see you don't have to be stuck with the fonts everyone else uses, or the clunky sizes and the styles the browser uses as defaults for paragraphs and headings. You're also going to see there is a lot more to color than meets the eye. Text and fonts from 40,000 feet. A lot of CSS properties are dedicated to helping you style your text. Using CSS you can control font style, color, and even the decorations that are put on your text. And we are going to cover all this in this chapter. We'll start by exploring the actual fonts that are used to display your pages. You've already seen the font family property, and in this chapter you are going to learn a lot more about specifying fonts. Before we dive in, let's get the 40,000 foot view of some properties. You can use that to specify and change the look of your fonts. After that, we'll take the fonts one by one and learn the ins and outs of using each. Customize the fonts in your pages with the font family property. Fonts can have a dramatic effect on your page designs. In CSS, fonts are divided into font families from which you can specify the fonts you would like used in each element in your page. Only certain fonts are commonly installed on most computers, so you need to be careful in your font choices. In this chapter we'll take you through everything you need to know, specify and make the best use of fonts. Also we'll see in a bit how you can expand the fonts available to your browser. So, font family Verdana, Geneva. Arial, sans serif. Control the size of your fonts. Design the reliability of your pages. There are several ways to specify font sizes with CSS, and this chapter will cover each one. But we'll also teach you how to specify your fonts in a way that allows your users to increase the font use size without affecting your designs. And the color to your text with the color property. You can change your text color with the color property. To do that, it helps to know a little about the colors, and we'll take you to all the ins and outs of color, including the mysterious color hex codes. Body color silver. Affect the weight of your fonts with the font weight property. Why settle for boring average fonts when you can give them some extra weight when needed? Or are your fonts looking too heavy? Slim them down to a normal weight. All this is easily done weight and font weight property. Add even more style to your text with the text decoration property. Using the text decoration property, you can decorate your text with decoration, including overlays, underlines, and line thoughts. Text decoration, underline. What is font family anyway? you already come across the font family property, and so far you always specify the value of sans serif. You can get a lot more creative than that with the font family property, but it helps to know what font family it is first. Here is the quick rundown. Each font family contains a set of fonts that share a common characteristic. There are few font families: sans serif, serif, monospace, cursive, and fantasy. Each family includes a large set of fonts, so on this page you will see only a few examples of each. The serif family includes fonts with serifs. A lot of people associated the looks of these fonts with newspaper print. Serif are the decorative bars and hooks on the ends of the letters. The sans serif family includes fonts without serifs. Their fonts are usually considered more readable on computer screens than serif fonts. Sans serif means without serifs. Fonts aren't consistently available from one computer to another. In fact, the set of available fonts will vary depending on the operation system, as well as what fonts and applications a user has installed. So keep in mind that the fonts on your machine may differ from what is available to your users. And as we said, we'll show you how to extend to set of fonts in a bit. Monospace family. The monospace family is made up of fonts that we have constant weight characters. For instance, the horizontal space NI takes up will be the same weight that NM takes up. These fonts are primarily used to show software code examples. And take a good look at the font families. Serif fonts have an elegant traditional look, while sans serif fonts have a very clean and readable look. Monospace fonts feel like they were typed on a typewriter. Cursive and fantasy fonts have a playful or stylized feel. Cursive family and fantasy family. The fantasy font family contains stylized decorative fonts. Font magnets. Your job is to help the fictional fonts below find their way home to their own font family. Move each fridge magnet on the left into the correct font family on the right. Check your answers before you move on. Review the font family description on the previous pages if you need to. And this is our exercise. Specifying font families using CSS. Okay, so there are a lot of good fonts out there from several font families. How do you get them in your pages? Well, you already had a peek at the font family property in the last chapter when you specified the font family of sans serif for the long. And here's a more interesting example. Usually, your font family specification contains a list of alternative fonts all from the same family. You can specify more than one font using the font family property. Just type the font names separated by commas. Write font names as they are spelled, including upper and lowercase letters. Always put a generic font family name at the end, like serif, sans serif, cursive, or monospace. You will see what this does in a sec. How font family specification work. Here is how the browser interprets the fonts listed in your font family specification. Check to see if the font Verdana is available on the user's computer, and if so, use it as font for this element, in this case the body element. If Verdana isn't available, then look for the font Geneva, and if it is available, use it for the body. If Geneva isn't available, then look for the font Arial, and if it's available, use it for the body. Finally, if none of the specific fonts can be found, just use whatever the browser considers its default sans serif font. You don't have to specify 4 alternative fonts. You can have 2, 3, etc. In the last chapter, we only used one, the default sans serif font, although we don't recommend that because it doesn't give you much control over the fonts you'd like use. The font family property gives you a way to create a list of preferred fonts. Hopefully, most browsers will have one of your first choices, but if not, you can at least be assured that the browser will provide a generic font from the same family. Let's get some fonts into your pages. Dustin of Tony's Journal will talk about this in the next lesson, and that's our 44th lesson over. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, put likes, share with friends, comment, eat bananas, chocolate and nuts, drink more water for the effective work of our brains. Bye.